What's going on, everybody? I am live right now with Steve Porkin from Slow News. Let's just make sure we got Rockfin rocking. But right now we are live on both YouTube and on Rockfin. We're going to be discussing today the assassination of Jovenel Moise. I'm going to go ahead and pretend like I pronounced that correctly. But he's the president of Haiti. Or he was. Which is, that's kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie, Steve. That wasn't the type of news I was expecting to wake up to this morning. And we are live on both Rockfin and YouTube right now. So do want to go ahead and get into it. But before we do that, Steve, man, how you doing, bro? You've been busy over the last couple of weeks. Before we delve into the Haiti stuff, can you go ahead and let everybody know what you've been up to?
Yeah, so the month of June was the home run for Julian tour. John and Gabriel Shipton, Julian Assange's father and half-brother, were in the United States for a 16 or 17 stop month-long trip where two Australians who are related to an Australian journalist and publisher who is incarcerated in the United Kingdom because his publication registered in Iceland printed things about the United States. Straightforward. They were explaining how the First Amendment worked to Americans. It was so surreal. It was, but for the West Coast leg of this tour started on June 23rd in Denver, Colorado. I was invited to MC that event, so I thought this could be an opportunity to put out a documentary from ground level activist perspective, with the subject being Julian Assange's family, on this tour. So I did the rest of the West Coast tour and the final stop in DC. As you know, and as you signed, we had a WikiLeaks flag that we had carried with us to a number of different events and demonstrations over the last 2 years. I was able to present that to Julian's father. It's going to get put into his hands eventually. We hope, at least, at any rate, they don't fucking murder the guy in prison. And Misty did this super cool thing where it was the home run for Julian tour. So she got John and Gabriel engraved Louisville Slugger bats with the home run logo on it, all of the stops that they went to on the tour. And then my favorite quote from Julian Assange, which involves the words, one of the things that makes me most happy is crushing bastards. And so that was that was awesome. I did like 7,000 miles in a week and a half. We wrapped it up with Julian's birthday events in Los Angeles and Echo Park. That was pretty wonderful. Glory and I went into downtown Los Angeles and Hollywood, bullhorning and filming another protest. Indigenous organizations had their Farce of July protest on the 4th. Got interviews with the organizers and all that. And yeah, screamed into a bullhorn in downtown Hollywood for a while, and it had a hella weird experience on the trade on the way back, but I'll probably talk about that on Slow.
Yeah, I mean, travel disruptions is really not something that you're unaccustomed to at this point. I know when you do it.
I thought I was gonna be stuck in Arizona for like 3 days, man. I had to fucking argue with 7 different customer service people at American Airlines before I finally got one person to call the bitch at the first desk who was like, "Yeah, it was overbooked."
See, you've had to put on his best Karen hat, man. You had to put on your best Karen hat to get through.
Man, dude, I don't get the same treatment that like an angry white woman or a well-dressed white man would get. I get that let's call security treatment,
Well, like I told you already, Steve, so most white guys, like the Bradleys out there of the world, usually most Stevens, they get they usually get the I'm the cool white guy who buys the drugs treatment, but it's an understood thing. Nobody talks about it. But the problem with Steve is that Steve looks like the plug for your neighborhood drug dealer. So that gives him, gives him special exception. It doesn't always work out in his favor, bro. With that being said, man, this thing in Haiti, man, it's got a lot of layers to it.
Pull the fucking white makeup.
So this thing in Haiti got a lot of layers to it. The president of Haiti was assassinated this morning. It looked like a scene from like Paid in Full, to be honest with you. And there are a lot of moving parts here, namely that by all accounts, this president was kind of a puppet for the United States. And so when you see somebody get assassinated and they've been a puppet for the U.S., usually there are some background things happening that a lot of people aren't aware of. So can you go ahead and give people your take on what we saw happen this morning with the Haitian president, or at least the former one?
This has a very familiar feel to it for a couple of different reasons. I brought up Peter Tosh when we were off camera before the thing, because the opening scene to the movie Red X Stepping Razor, the Peter Tosh autobiography, is that scene where people dressed as the Jamaican security forces invade his home and murder him. And that's how that film opens.
Actually, looks like the scene to Shot Us too, actually.
Yeah.
At the end. For real.
Yeah, it does. And so, I mean, there's a familiarity in that because the U.S. has historically dealt with puppet leaders that fell out of favor in the global South in a similar fashion, where there's either a very public coup attempt, and if that fails, then there's an assassination, or in the case of Manuel Noriega, who was a CIA asset who got out of hand, ran out his usefulness. He was made a public spectacle of, to the point to where the U.S. military had surrounded his compound and was blasting music at him. Mama told me there'd be days like this, and I fought the law and the law won, and all kinds of just shit they were blaring at him. And it has kind of a feel like that because this is likely a man who ran out his usefulness. And no one is more savage in dealing with enemies or in dealing with assets who have worn out their usefulness than the U.S. empire, specifically people connected to the Clintons. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris couldn't be more connected to the Clintons. And as you and I both know, the Clintons still have unfinished business in Haiti.
Oh, man, yeah, their business is never going to be finished. What you're seeing over here, ladies and gentlemen, is the scene of where the president was supposedly assassinated. And in the video, you can actually hear people speaking Spanish. And I don't know if you all are aware of this, but the primary language of Haiti is not Spanish. It's French, and their very specific dialect of French at that. That's pretty recognizable to those who lived in Haiti or perhaps live in Miami. But so what you're seeing here is them like run into their house. Somebody's sprawled on the ground. I think he thinks he's playing Call of Duty. That's a really weird place to be sprawled on the ground in broad daylight. But yeah, no, that was weird. That was just like, I don't know what strategy that was. But it kind of lets you know that to some degree, right, it was a very unprofessional hit. But in other ways, it was like, oh shit, this could be a problem. This could be, once again, in a lot of people's minds, another example of just the U.S. taking care of business. Now, you posted something earlier on about WikiLeaks, that where they were talking about kind of what has been going on as far as correspondence with the United States and their power players in the situation in Haiti. Can you go ahead and elaborate a little bit more on that?
So this is what I love about WikiLeaks is that it has got one of the most accessible, searchable, thorough databases for any news outlet on the planet. And if you go to WikiLeaks right now and you type in Haiti into the search bar, you get nearly 1,500 hits from the Clinton emails, because of natural resources, because they had, it was basically a fucking slave colony for decades. And the whole reason it has even statehood is because it had one of the most historically violent and successful slave revolts in history. And they were able to gain that much of an independent, but still maintained a lot of this French colonial oversight. But the Clintons.
A lot of people say that the U.S. basically tried to make an example out of Haiti. Like, y'all better not fucking learn from these bitches.
Well, and they had the hurricane that came through offered a perfect opportunity, not just for disaster capitalism.
You mean I think it was an earthquake, right?
Oh no, it was an earthquake. That's right. That's right. Earthquake.
They use all of them: earthquakes, hurricanes.
Yeah, it was a hurricane like 2 years later, but it was an earthquake during the Clintons. Anyway, offered a perfect opportunity for disaster capitalism, but also the kind of nefarious activities that accompany a disaster capitalism venture like child trafficking. And we know from multiple different sources that the Clinton Foundation was heavily involved in child trafficking from Haiti.
Yeah. You can say it's for whatever you want, whether you can say it's for sex trafficking, organ trafficking, probably a healthy amount of all that, but there are too many sources involved that have come out publicly and said, yo man, like there's clearly some weird shit going on. There was even who was the guy who came to Miami who was actually about to testify in front of the United Nations and got assassinated within 24 hours of landing on Miami before he flew to New York. He was I want to say like head of treasury of Haiti when the Clintons were basically running everything. And then I know where man comes to the U.S. to testify. He was assassinated on the boat. Or excuse me, no, my apologies. He committed suicide, Steve. He committed suicide.
Finding the dude's name,
bro.
Any of these.
You know, I'm the.
Well, no. I mean, I'm trying to pull it from an article too, and they're not
mentioning the guy from
really not coming forward with this
from a few weeks ago. I mean, a few weeks ago, a few years ago.
No. From a few years ago, the dude who was going to testify.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From a few years ago.
Yeah. I've got.
Let's see if I can find it.
Oh.
2017, former Haiti official is Miami Herald. Former Haiti government official shoots himself in the head in Miami area hotel. Klaus Eberwein, that's his name. A former Haitian government official was found dead Tuesday in a South Dade motel room in what the Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office is ruling a suicide. Now, I want everybody to have the proper context here. But nobody in Miami at all at the time believed that she was a suicide. Not a single Haitian at all believed that she was a suicide. It was literally announced that he was coming to the States to testify, and it was made a big deal. And a lot of people, local publications had been talking about it. And out of nowhere, motherfucker, he just killed himself. Look at he shot himself in the head, said Veronica Lamar, Miami-Dade Medical Examiner. Records supervisor. She listed the time of death at 12:19 p.m. because we all know that most people kill themselves right after breakfast and right before brunch. The address where Eberwein's body was discovered, according to police, is the Quality Inn on South Dixie Highway. It's a supporter of former Haitian President Michael Martelly. Eberwein served as Director General of the government's Economic Development Agency. Fonds de Resistance Économique et Sociale, better known as FAES. He held the position from May 2012 until February 2015. If anyone is curious as to what that actually looks like, it looks a lot like Hillary's tenure as Secretary of State, because that's exactly her tenure as Secretary of State. Mind you, his Bill Clinton's brother at the time was running the rice industry. You couldn't become a business owner in Haiti, whether you are a
that was Hillary's brother. That was Tony Rodham.
Oh, I thought it was Bill's brother.
No, that was Bill's brother. Was Roger. He was the fucking cokehead that got pardoned. I'm sure Roger's like banging, C-grade meth whores on some Arkansas getaway cabin somewhere. Like, good on him too, man. Roger, I hope you have a long, successful career. I do. Go bang those mid-grade meth whores, buddy. But no, this was Tony Rodham.
You're right. It's Tony. It wasn't Tony.
And that was right at the same time that the Clinton Global Fund was bragging about like the $500 million they raised in Haitian relief. Motherfuckers built a half dozen homes. Six total. 6 total houses on a $500 million raised.
Yeah, I remember. That's
they're
why
not.
everybody once again thought that Hillary Clinton was supposed to be a shoo-in, in case y'all are wondering, because she had raised so much money through the Clinton Global Initiative, which everybody could clearly see was quid pro quo fundraising, that it was almost a guarantee in a lot of people's minds, which is also why you saw the harsh backlash whenever Trump beat somebody who didn't feel the need to campaign in swing states. But that's a different discussion. It says here that Bailey, who was everyone's business partner and a pizza restaurant chain in Haiti, said he last spoke to everyone 2 weeks ago, and he was in good spirits. And they were working actually on opening another restaurant in Sunrise, which is in the Broward County area in South Florida. So it said that everyone had fallen on hard times. An Uber spokesman confirmed he worked as a driver for a while in South Florida. I mean, when you're trying to escape assassination and you can't work for the government, I would probably work for Uber too. Yeah, I think I would. What's he gonna do? Go get another job in Haiti? So
right, you're gonna apply at one of those pizza places.
Exactly. Oh shit.
Funny story.
He was gonna, see, here's the thing. He was already planning on starting another one, which is weird because nobody killed themselves like a week before their grand opening.
No, very, very, very rare. Funny story. They were originally gonna call that pizza chain Comet, but backed out at both.
Kyle's like, nah, man. I'm uncomfortable with that name. Why is that, man? I don't know. I don't like Comet. But
maybe we shouldn't. Maybe
we shouldn't. So as you can see, once again, you just see that the U.S. government, which is inextricably connected to Hillary Clinton, has always been intimately involved in Haiti and their goings on. Even this last election, where the president who was just assassinated, quote unquote, won, everybody named Mama knew he cheated, and everybody named Mama knew that the U.S. had installed him. So now you get to the real question, in my humble opinion, which is, why do you feel that they assassinated him now? Why let him win only to take him out, which kind of leaves the field open to somebody else who may not have the name recognition or the popularity, and in my opinion, leave the field open to allow maybe somebody who is more left-leaning or at least less beholden to the empire to come in and take his place.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, if a puppet dictator has lost his usefulness, if he's stepped out of line or she has stepped out of line, even just a little bit, there's going to be a reprisal from that, that puppet's fucking handler. And I don't know the intimate details of what this particular president was up to. I'll be perfectly honest about that. I don't follow Haiti that closely. And that's really honestly because we don't have the fucking time for it. To
be fair.
Slow news that we do report on the global south. We do report to pick up that slack, and that's what I love about being a part of this thing.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to Pasta and Feast coverage of this tonight, because I know they're gonna go. Pasta's probably off somewhere in the damn rabbit hole.
Guaranteed.
About to dig up some shit from 1933. Real quick. Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to all Rockfin people. We got 32 people right now watching live on Rockfin. Reeve Barker, thank you for the tip. Bethlehem, what's going on, Bethlehem? Thank you so much for the tip. In Bloom Fate, Moi was a puppet. I'm highly confused about his death. Also, welcome back, Niko. Appreciate you guys. Bethlehem asks, who is next?
Whoever was putting Jink and Anna's work email addresses in the Rockfin chat. Big up to
look at Will. Will, look at you out here doing the Laura's work. Go ahead, man.
Big up to that guy.
But yeah, man, I'm in your camp where it's like he fell out of favor, but I do feel like there's also the other side of that fence. So I remember in Africa with the Gaddafi situation with Libya and Chad, everybody was kind of under the impression that for some reason Gaddafi was like, oh, let me just randomly attack my people. No, like they always do when we install them. They went into Libya. Gaddafi would defend his country. And they would be like, oh, look what you're doing. You're attacking your own people. Kind of like what we do in Syria right now. But we ended up we didn't assassinate the leader of Chad, but we overthrew him, and then put him in jail. We put him on trial at the ICC, and he can never talk to anybody ever again. You know, so it's basically the political in the ICC, but it was only in after Gaddafi was assassinated and he did his job. Now, if I was the U.S., specifically if I was Hillary Clinton about to run for president, I don't want anybody knowing that I just helped bring open market slavery back to Africa. I would probably want to shut somebody the hell up if he's probably one of the only presidents or leaders in Africa who actually knows why we were taking out Gaddafi and understands his role and what we asked him to do in that particular assassination. So I feel like there could be something bigger unraveling here, which in my opinion kind of highlights the suspicious nature of the timing. Like, why let him win, like, only to turn around 2-3 months later and then do this in a very like public kind of way, like in a dumbass way. It's like you go get some Latino guys. Like, it's a very clearly Biden is president type of bullshit, in my opinion.
It is, but we can't. I mean, in order for like full impartiality to take place, or in order to have like, you know, a I guess fair discussion about this, we need to entertain the idea that this was either a local opposition force or an outside state actor trying to dispose of this president as well. It doesn't mean that that's actually what happened, but to not at least entertain that idea or discuss it, I believe is unfair. However, I did just open up the YouTube chat, and the first fucking thing I see is from Abolish Politicians. And he says, y'all remember when the Gray Zone did that deep dive?
You got kind of distant.
Huh?
Okay, you sound a little bit distant from your mic for a second.
Oh, no, I forgot to turn my VPN off before we did this, and that's why. But I'm a paranoid motherfucker, dude.
Hey, I got mine too. Don't even.
But he says, y'all remember the Gray Zone did that deep dive into Epstein's funding? Me either. And look, let me say this about the Gray Zone, okay? Because I've gone in pretty hard on those guys.
I thought they did do a deep dive into Epstein's funding once. In the article, not in the video.
I don't think so. I don't think if they did, they lifted it from Whitney. But look, dude, I will say this, man. I am truly appreciative of the dudes from the Gray Zone that came out to our event to speak on behalf of Julian Assange. I'm truly appreciative every time Max Blumenthal leaves his house and comes down to the embassy or the Department of Justice to speak, because what the Gray Zone does, what Lee Camp does, what a lot of those guys do is they're like a segue between leaving the mainstream media's influence over you and getting you further onto your quest for actual truth and real information in the media landscape. The Gray Zone is integral to that. They are.
And they have resources to get to places and countries that a lot of people do not.
100%. Now, where we butt heads is that even though they are that, you know, where they have those resources, they have that reach and that readership, they still rely on other people's reporting to make up a lot of their content, and they're not necessarily great about giving those people credit. So every criticism that they've got from like Vanessa Beeley or Eva Bartlett or Moon of Alabama is 100% deserved. It is. That doesn't mean that we have to like shit all over them, because I think that the outlet in and of itself is useful as long as the person who's reading them is open to the idea that this is not the end all be all of information on this topic. Yeah.
And I do agree, man. Like it's extremely important to make sure that people give the credit that is deserved for a few reasons. One, it's just the honest thing to do, but two, we've seen what happened whenever the right people didn't get the right credit for the right issues over the last 4 to 8 years. And so when that credit is taken away, you don't know who is actually correct or their methodology for them to get to that conclusion. And therefore you fall for the person who may have initially reported something who is then wrong on 75% of other issues. Whereas the right person would have gotten credit when it was due, then you know who to follow, I don't want to say whose word to trust, but whose work to follow. And then you can subsequently judge, okay, this seems a little bit more accurate than this other person, even though they both reported it. So, I mean, like, just for example, the Hillary Victory Fund story that I was the one who broke that story, never got appropriate credit for it. In fact, this wasn't a situation where somebody forgot to give credit. It was outright stolen. And because of that, it was like a cascade. It was a domino effect of people who reported as if they were the pioneers on that story or other stories similar to it were just wrong over and over and over again, but people kept going to them over their stance or their pushing of that story. And so, and I'm the type that, like, so for example, like Ben Norton is actually one of my favorite journalists and reporters out of the gray zone. And I'll give a lot of credit because Ben be pulling stories out of, like, I didn't know that motherfucking Orwell was a goddamn narc until Ben reported it. I was like, oh shit, flip my goddamn world upside down. And the way that Ben thinks, I feel like is very important to what we do. And so I always make sure to give that credit where credit is due. But yeah, Vanessa Beeley and Whitney Webb and a lot of these people get shitted on and don't get the credit they deserve. But then either they don't get the credit they deserve or people ignore their stories or people ignore the consequences that happen to them because of what they report. And all of that is unacceptable because I wouldn't allow any of that to happen to Max Blumenthal or Ben Norton or anybody else. And so I feel like we should maintain that same standard when we're talking about, especially our women journalists who kind of get shitted on by, just the way things are, unfortunately, and people's complicity in allowing them to get not get the credit they deserve.
That's why what you've built and what we're building with MCSC is unique in the media landscape. Because we're like lucky as shit, dude. We have some of the smartest and most prepared females on the planet.
Whew.
For us, we're comfortable with like taking a back seat, just letting them fucking drive 100, drive the whole fucking thing. And like, dude, if that's what people want to see and if that's what people want to hear, I want to be the show that's putting that content out. You know what I mean? I don't want to like feel threatened by that or try to step on any of that or try to tell somebody.
Whenever Misty, Fee, Allie, and Sky, and who I'm missing one more, Glory. They were all were on the show together. And I think that Missy just started the channel and they had like more views live than she had subscribers.
Yeah.
Because when people are good at their job and they get the attention they deserve, because a lot of people know who they are now, but once again, they didn't have to go through they had to go through a lot more bullshit than a lot of the not for nothing white male guys who were constantly wrong. Where these women have been pretty much right on everything so far.
And that's one of the more frustrating things about like all of the nonsense with TYT and Thor and Kalinsky and all that shit. You and I were talking on the phone the other day, and it really is like the battle for political left YouTube's most supreme non-threatening white dude. Am I wrong though? Like,
I mean, it's kind of what it look like. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, because at no point is anyone offering a realistic political solution to any problems. At no point is anyone
that's kind of been my
focused
issue.
on making the people who don't want to become household names be household names. That's not the focus of any of those shows. My personal opinion, my personal philosophy for independent media is that it's our fucking job, our mandate to make the people who do not want to be household names. That's
we don't get Julian Assange otherwise. We don't get Whitney Webb's otherwise.
Fuck no. And so when I look at what the the drama, you know, and the fucking talk, and everybody's goddamn videos are about. This is a sitcom, or this is Law and Order political YouTube, you know, and it's like a dramedy. And at no point, like, you've got, you know, the characters and villains and all this shit, and but at no point is anybody really actually taking anything with them that they could go and then find a workable solution to their everyday obstacles or their larger political ones. It's fucking entertainment, which is fine. I'd love to be entertained. I understand that it's entertainment and that I'm not supposed to develop a political philosophy around it.
Yeah, it's my biggest issue with it, because I covered the drama too. But like, I mean, obviously, if y'all know me, y'all know like it wasn't exactly what everybody else said. It was like, my biggest problem was like, somehow this became the TYT Jimmy Aaron beef, when originally it was about Syria coverage, and then originally it was about Richie, like, and then Richie got bumped out of the convo, even though he was being smeared and maligned and attacked by TYT and you know, their ilk, and then Aaron kind of got pushed into there. I mean, Aaron has done great work. I'm not saying that the people who came to defense of Aaron were right, for no other reason than to defend the work. But once again, this man Richie has had his fucking platform removed. They're shutting down everything he's a part of right now. This man is being targeted by the empire, but like, once again, nobody cares about that or the issue of Syria, or really the fact that it took this long for y'all to even fucking figure out that TYT is trash until somebody's favorite white boy is attacked.
Or Kyle Kulinski is trash.
Well, like I said, until somebody's favorite white boy is attacked. That's basically the common theme of it's, oh, Bernie's attacked, now we hate Elizabeth Warren. Oh, Jimmy's attack, now we appreciate the value or gravity of this particular issue or this bad actor. Oh, Aaron's attack, now we see the error of our ways and our misunderstanding of uplifting light imperialists and pretending as if the issue on Syria, like Assad was guilty of something that was disproven forever ago. Like, but meanwhile, the Richies get ignored. The Fiorellas who go to Peru get ignored. You know, Richie's from Syria, discussed that issue in great detail, works for Iran TV, or Press TV, excuse me, who is censored. They get ignored. The Glories get ignored. The Eyes get ignored. The people who have, to some degree, a vested interest in making sure these issues get covered because they've been personally affected in some way, form, or fashion, or have spent their life fighting for it, they all get ignored. And then once again, we get stuck into this drama. And you're right. There really, outside of maybe our shows, hasn't been solutions offered. And really, I feel like a lot of people haven't correctly explained why it's so important that we have seen the unmasking that we have seen of like TYT and others like them.
Well, I just hope that it sticks.
I think it will. I just hope
get into a situation 6 months from now. I hope we don't get into a situation 6 months from now where all of a sudden it's primaries, where, you know, and
I think that's over for that.
But midterms, and because it's midterms, because it's a political shit show, then people are just gonna devolve back into that. Well, I know I'm going to get and here's the thing, man. They're like if that question was posed to me, I would ask you, you know, immediately, like, for what though, or like on what, because there are specific people that are really, really good on the issues that are inside their wheelhouse that I wouldn't go to for anything else. Yeah, and that's true. And there are people that do like broad sort of introductory coverage that will occasionally do deep dives, like Burma's. Like, if you want to get your finger on the pulse for a really broad spectrum of, you know, ideas and stories, Burma's is fucking perfect, because you'll occasionally get those deep dive interviews, but it just gives you a really good picture of what's going on, you know, in every aspect of society. But like Ryan Christian is great, Last American Vagabond.
Yeah, I would say even before you get to Jason, The Convo Couch, which most of you all probably already watched, very, very, very good at giving. I mean, they do both. They do the surface and the deep dive, but I feel like they try to keep it a lot more light. You know, Jason has his way of keeping it light too, but like you say, he does kind of like, you got to have the basic understanding of a lot of what he discusses before you go in, and a basic understanding of how the world works. And I feel like Convo is a good introductory into that. I feel like y'all, Gloria and Ali do a great job kind of introducing people into, you know, just how fucked up the world is. You know, there's like you said, there's pretty much a person for every need, and that's basically, I feel like, the point, right? That's the what Steve is getting at. There are people. If there's anybody who's ever said I'm the only one, they're full of shit. Unless it was one of us a couple of hours after you found out a story broke, because it was probably us who broke the story. Because it's Scoop Gang over here.
But oh my god, dude, I try so hard never to fucking devolve into that, like, we're the only show doing this, you know? And I found a couple of times where, like, fuck, we are. Shit. You know? But, I mean, we go way the fuck out of our way to make sure that we're giving the right people credit for the stuff that we do, and that's why we continuously have on Vanessa Beeley and Eva Bartlett and Whitney Webb. By the way, this Sunday. Whitney Webb and Johnny Vedmore will be back on the show, and this is one of those things where I check.
First of all, Steve, I know you're cool and popular and all that shit, but like, let people at least know where the hell you at. Like, you just like, oh yeah, we got all these shows and shit, man. We got these cool stuff, people coming on and all. You're like, yeah, just know.
You can find us on the Rockfin at rockfin.com/slownewsday. You can find all of our stuff at slownewsdayshow.com. We're on a couple other channels. We're on Odysee.
In case y'all didn't know, see, Rockfin had a little bit of a boom recently, and so Steve and everybody on MCSC Network has been getting a few thousand followers every couple of days now. So these motherfuckers all booze. They think they cool now.
Look, hey, Jaime, if you're watching, and I know you do, and you want to present for Rockfin, I'm your dude, because I've been posting content on Rockfin for about a year, only seriously since November of last year, in a dedicated, like, every time we go, we're gonna go on Rockfin. And because Rockfin doesn't censor, because Rockfin allows us to be seen and be heard, I can report that we have doubled our subscriber count on Rockfin from what YouTube allows us to keep. Now, YouTube has, I've personally, like, seen YouTube unsubscribe over 50,000 people from the channel, but
150 for us.
They're allowing us to
150,000, excuse me.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is just what I've managed to catch, you know. But we're at like 5,500 on YouTube, man. We're at 11,000 on Rockfin, and fucking it's only because the platform doesn't censor us or hide us algorithmically. And so I am very grateful to be on this platform. I do want to make it perfectly clear that I'm not, like, tying our entire success to Rockfin. I'm not, you know, writing books, making films, all that kind of shit too. But without this, we'd be well fucked and far from home.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I definitely got to give a shout out to Rockfin. We're at, right now, 19,824 on Rockfin. Mind you, which is not a secret, I've been taking time off for personal reasons, and somehow I went to take time off at 13,000 followers and came back with almost 20,000. And I mean, and these are active followers, and once again, it's just a matter of we don't get censored when there's good content. It's seen, and not for nothing, but people are kind of tired of YouTube. I think. And I'm pretty sure you would agree, they're also tired of YouTube commentators. So it's a combination of two things. It's like they're tired of YouTube, and they're tired of YouTube commentators, and they're tired of people being full of shit. And on Rockfin, the moment you try to come half-stepping, man, like, people are like, yeah, next. I'd rather just watch somebody who I disagree with, who's honest, than watch somebody that they ideologically agree with supposedly and is full of shit. And I would like to think, Steve, that we helped to set that standard. I've been on Rockfin for over about 2 years now, and I know you've been there for about a year and some change. I feel like we've definitely helped to set that standard.
I smile, but I also cringe a little bit every time. But they've been passing around the nickname Rockfin royalty, and it like makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But then I look at this shit and I'm like, well, it's on any given week, the top 4, top 10 videos are always MCSC network channels, Brian and Burmis, and occasionally Kim Iverson.
And Whitney, when she decides to post that week,
and,
for her podcast.
Whitney, she's got a podcast out, and I do like I consider Whitney part of that T-Lab crew because
Definitely.
she is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, technically, yeah. But yeah, man,
like
it's
Unlimited Hangout is her own thing. But I feel very fortunate that I've been able to develop a friendship with Whitney over the last couple of years, and with Johnny Vedmore as well. And I did check; we are the only show that has had Whitney and Johnny on at the same time. That's something that at this point is 100% unique to Slow News Day. So I can with
it's very difficult to do given Whitney's circumstances.
Yeah, ever put out this information, or we're the only show that you're ever going to hear that. Niko's absolutely right. If anybody's lying to you, they are running their show on gaslight, and that's bullshit. And you should at least recognize that. That doesn't mean you have to cancel that person. Doesn't mean you have to stop watching them or being.
Hey, but it is worth it to stop in the comment section and just give credit what credit's due, man. There's a lot of times where I've had to stop and be like, "Yo, man, Whitney was the one who reported this. Y'all should give her some credit." You know, Fee was the one who went to Peru bro, there was news stations who were reporting shit that Fee personally reported, but they waited days after, so they didn't have to give her any credit for it. Or with Robbie, where he literally had to teach journalists how to find the information that he was finding for the Colonial Pipeline, because he broke everything of any significance there, and they still wouldn't give him the credit for it. Still. Like, I'm talking about, hey, man, we can't do our job without you. Can you please help us do our job? And Robbie's like, well, yeah, because all he's concerned about is making sure the job gets fucking done. And they're like, thanks, man. Now we're going to go on and never mention you and probably even go out of the way to censor you to make sure that you never get the credit for this, because we don't want other people to go to you as the primary source. It's bullshit, man. And I got to say, I'm once again, I'm very thankful for Rockfin, because it really let the cream rise to the top. I've been telling y'all, I mean, since Rockfin had basically nobody on there, how much we believed in their cause, we believed in the staff, and their overall goal, and they've kept every single promise, every single one that they've made to, at least I could say, to my crew when we first joined, and even where they fell quote unquote short, it was something that's kind of like, well, yeah, they're working with a limited staff, so when they get to it, they'll get to it, and usually they always do. And I feel like the Rockfin crew has generally become a lot like a family in a lot of ways. And where you see everybody running to now, as far as journalists, because I feel like a lot of people have gotten exposed. Basically, everybody's running the Rockfin, quote unquote, Rockfin royalty, if you will. The Combo Couch, us. Steve.
I'm telling you though, man, you just listen to our call-in show, which, by the way, everyone watching right now, Friday night, 8 o'clock on the West Coast, 11 p.m. on the East Coast, late night, get your fucking freak on, get your fucking weird-ass radio vibe, fuck it, that's our college show. And damn near every week, Niko, there's somebody who throws that name around. And it's different people every time.
Yeah, well, it's nice to be called something like that rather than the other names that we get called, which is like Nazi and Nazi Jason and neo-Nazi and neo-Nazi fascist.
They called me the gateway to the alt-right, Niko. The G-Hive was trying to
impress. That. That's impressive, man. That's a pretty big title, man.
So, and simultaneously, because Tim Pool called me the conspiratorial left. And now
Tim Pool said that.
Yeah. Yeah, he smeared the fuck out of me in like 2019. I had a video out that was wondering out loud if Pete Buttigieg was a CIA Democrat. Yes.
That was our first. Hey, that was our first conversation, man. Well, not that. I don't know if that video is the first time we talked, but that's our first conversation. We're like, yeah, that motherfucker CIA is. All right, that motherfucker Buttigieg is a spook, right? Okay, I'm glad we both agree. Let's be best friends now.
but I had a video out about that. The Daily Beast ran a hit piece on me, and Tim Pool picked up the Daily Beast article and ran with it. Called me the conspiratorial left. Flash forward like a year and a half now, Jeff Campbell is calling me the gateway to the alt-right.
Bro, that was the first time I had you on.
I think it was.
That was. Yeah, because we were like, it's just silly for one, Tim Pool to be saying this. 2, the Daily Beast to be smearing anybody. And 3, clearly Buttigieg is a spook. Like, because I was talking about the fact that he didn't even have to go through basic training. And all he did was really just drive people around, but somehow he gets to walk around claiming that he had deployment experience. Like he had foreign policy experience because he drove fucking Suburban around with important people.
He was Navy intelligence, man.
Yeah.
Navy Reserve intelligence. But the first time he was in Afghanistan was at the behest of McKinsey and Company.
Yeah.
McKinsey and Associates. That's why
weird.
he was in Afghanistan. That's why he got to carry a gun.
Facts.
He didn't fucking, like, he didn't even have a sidearm as a Naval Reserve intelligence agent, you know, or officer. Didn't even have a fucking sidearm. He carried that gun as a fucking merc for McKinsey.
So, really quick, before we finish up, got a couple more tips on Rockfin. Jig forever. Welcome back. Great to see you, Steve. And don't forget about the Prime Minister of Tanzania, who died a few months ago under suspicious circumstances. Oh, I mean, shit. I mean, yeah, he died under suspicious circumstances. This is a circumstance he didn't want to take the damn vaccine. He didn't care if he didn't want everybody else to be forced to take it either. That was suspicious. I have no problem. Look, when it comes to Africa, whatever your most crazy conspiracy about why a leftist leader especially, was assassinated or killed, bro, just go ahead and accept that shit is true. Because they don't even try to cover up their tracks in Africa. I mean, if they even attempted to do that, that would be humanizing Africans. They don't even tell people that there is an African Union.
Yeah. Magufuli in Tanzania. He fucking, he was a dude who had the orange tested for COVID and all that. Came and then in February was like, wait, I was wrong. COVID's real. Everybody mask up. We got shots coming. He disappears for 2 months off the face of the earth, rematerializes 8 weeks later and drops immediately dead of a heart attack.
Yep. And then they try to say it was COVID that killed him in an ironic twist of fate. That's what they said anyway. Yeah, I bet. Mishka Key, thank you very much for the tip. 2 of my, I pronounce it as Mishka. Really quick, before we go, I need your most crazy conspiracy as to why this happened. We talked about the objective, probably what happened, but I want to know what you think is coming next. Because there's always something that comes next.
We're going to find out that the president of Haiti had extensive files on the Clinton family and on the Clinton Foundation, and was part of an integral link in the Clintons' child trafficking network out of Haiti. That's what we're going to find out.
So, I'm going to go in a different direction. All right? So lately, there's been a lot of polls that have been coming out saying that Kamala is likely going to lose against the GOP candidate, even if that GOP candidate is indeed Donald Trump, which I feel like that's probably the one she has the highest chance to lose against, but that's a different discussion. I think that because of how integral a role the U.S. played in installing this very, very unpopular dictator of a president, or at least he used to be, former president, I think that they are cleaning house in the Caribbean because obviously we know Kamala tries to lean into her Caribbean roots while running for president. That's what she tried to do last time. She's absolutely going to do that this time. But everybody and their mama knows Kamala all of a sudden has become the mastermind behind the foreign policy scenes, which probably, once again, would be exposed, given that it's about time for her to start running for president in probably about a year and a little bit less, a little year and a half, year
Well,
and 2-3 months.
she'll get appointed because Joey B will not make it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
Well, she's going to get appointed, but either way, she still has to rerun. I mean, because she has the opportunity to, because as long as it's after the 2-year mark, technically it doesn't count. So it doesn't count as a full term. So she'll get appointed, but either way, she has to start getting ready to run again. As information is constantly coming out by the boatload nowadays, and people are way like this whole thing. It's kind of weird when that remember that person that just committed suicide that works with the Clintons, and everybody's like, "Yep, Clintons killed him," and not a single person was like, "No, that's not true. That's stupid. The Clinton body count is rare." Everybody was like, "Yep, probably." And left it at that. There was no debate whatsoever on Twitter, to such a degree that they didn't even try to come out. Like CNN and MSNBC didn't even do their normal cleanup that they usually do, smearing anyone who asserts that, yeah, these are very suspicious circumstances. Everybody was just like, yep, it's true. Probably. Clinton probably killed him. So now we're at an era, not only are we getting a buttload of information, but everybody's accepting it. They're like, yeah, whatever the most evil, like the most likely outcome that is the most evil outcome is probably what happened, because these motherfuckers evil. And
because
when you look at Haiti,
like, yo, dude, I just want to get high and come today. I don't want to know about this shit. I don't. Of course the Clintons are mass murderers. Why the fuck wouldn't they be? Can I get my fucking shiny? That's all I want. I just want a distraction. And it's fucking, it's so brutal. It is. Aliens. Nobody gives a fuck about a fake alien invasion, Niko, or aliens in general. Like, you had governments like, here's full disclosure. Here's fucking Jimmy Carter having a conversation with a dude from planet fucking, whatever. And they're like,
planet fucking whatever.
Okay. I mean, that's not
bro, it's true. It's hilarious to me because everybody's like, bitch, we've been watching Agent Aliens. Y'all ain't saying nothing new to us. We've already kind of accepted this. Also, you'd be pretty narcissistic to think otherwise, in my opinion, to think that you're the only ones in the world, or no, excuse me, in the universe. Like, that's a pretty narcissistic mindset. Now, granted, this is America, so who knows? Maybe y'all did have that mindset. But, so, with that being said, appreciate you enlightening us a little bit on this Haiti assassination once again.
Hell yeah, and everybody watching, go immediately to Frank Analysis, because he's going to have Jimmy Dore on right now. And that'll be a really interesting conversation.
Oh, he's coming back on? Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Y'all know Frank?
It started about 2 minutes ago. So,
everybody
watching.
Hey, go watch that shit right now. Go watch that right now. Go. I'm pretty sure. Is he live on both Rockfin and YouTube?
He should be.
I
talked to him for like an hour and a half yesterday. Like, he said it was going at 11 o'clock. So they're not live yet, but they're about to be.
Okay. So, oh shit, he's probably waiting for us then. All right, everybody. So go check out Frank Analysis right now on Rockfin and or YouTube, preferably on Rockfin. Frank has been doing fucking dope on Rockfin too. I think he just hit, what, 5,000 or some shit? Oh shit. He got $7,500.
8 now or something.
Yeah, bruh. That's crazy.
Dude.
What the hell's Facts on the Ground?
Yeah.
We fucking figure out this shit out right now. Facts on the Ground. Man, I'm scared to look at Combo Couch because I'm pretty sure they fucking passed me again.
Facts on the Ground is 1 follower away from 7,000.
Oh my god.
Somebody go to Rockfin, follow Facts.
They are 6,999. You were 100% correct. And yeah, the Combo Couch is 100 away from passing me again. All right, I gotta get back to work then, because these motherfuckers, I talk so much shit when I pass them. I don't want them to come back around, guys. All right, it took a lot of work to pass them. All right.
Hey, and look, man, if you're watching right now and you haven't followed Slow News Day on the Rockfin, let's do that. Let's get this channel up to 15K by the end of the month, at least.
Oh, easy.
At least.
And let me go ahead and post that Rockfin link in there.
I'm looking through, Niko, and you're right, man. Like, all of the people who are just, do surface level fucking milquetoast MSM light coverage on YouTube that have these big ass channels on YouTube and these big followings, they don't got shit on Rockfin.
Yeah, bro. Even HMO 2,572. Man, they just got there like fucking 3 weeks ago. Oh, you know what? It's crazy too. Our sports page ended up blowing up too. So it's been Rockfin has really been, not only have they been like making sure that people are doing great work are kind of rewarded by being seen, but also they're making sure that they're suggesting people like, hey, these people are somebody that should be interested in it. Maybe you haven't seen before and isn't connected to anybody you know, but it's the kind of content you like, so we think you'll like it, and people are following, which is dope as shit, man. You gotta love it. You really do. So
shit. Hey, real quick, if you go to luckyburritosj.my Shopify, the guys who have been doing a lot of our graphics, Steve Cutler, Lucky Burrito, they made these Julian Assange necklaces. They're hella cheap. They're cool. It's a good way to show your support, and go check those out.
Also, go follow Josh. Go follow Josh on Twitter and go buy my motherfucking coffee. I feel like we should just say
also, buymeacoffee.com/Bort, B-O-R-T.
Yup. Josh is the guy. Sleepy Josh is the guy that makes Slow News Day run to such impeccable standards. So make sure I go buy Josh a coffee. Go buy Sleepy Josh a coffee. His Twitter is @abortyou, right?
Yes, sir.
@abortyou, all one word, with the U, not like Y-O-U. Okay. Appreciate you, Steve, man. And for everybody else, thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Go follow Steve right now. But more importantly, go fucking watch Frank Analysis, Talk with Jimmy Dore, because Lord knows Frank is the most calm, shit-talking ass motherfucker I've ever met in my life. Go watch. You're going to be entertained. I'm always entertained whenever Frank got somebody crazy on. You're going to be calm, though. You're going to be really calm and real nice about it. All right? Other than that, people, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.